Welcome to another Nova Circuit TCG test play video. Once again, I'm joined with Austin Masterson.
Hey, what's up?
He's actually in this video. He is running the Golisopod deck on the right, and you get to see Jeff's awesome Drampa Garbodor deck again in this video. If you didn't watch the video on Tuesday, it's the Drampa Garb versus Volcanion. Well, this matchup is actually Drampa Garb versus Golisopod. Austin, why don't you go ahead and explain the Golisopod deck, because it is your deck. So,
alright, so first off, this is not my original deck list in terms of I did not create this or theorem on this. I actually got this from Kurt Dubé of the Super Rodcast fame. You can follow him on Twitter at DubeSnacks.
Oh yeah, shout out to Super Rodcast, by the way. Great guys, good friend. We're actually good friends with those guys.
They provide a lot of help to me personally, so like I am definitely a big fan of whatever they do. I drew way too many cards there. First off, I drew like 10. I'm dumb. So I made a lot of mistakes this match. Please do not think I'm terrible or anything. I just suck.
You could just leave a comment telling them how terrible he is.
Yeah, just go ahead and do that. No, like this was like my second tournament with this deck. I only played like 4 rounds before this with this deck, so like I was not familiar with. Very I just slapped Jeff if you did not see that. I was not familiar with how to do everything with this deck. I'm a lot better now. So please do not take this as a oh, Nova Circuit is trash. Look at that trash player on the right.
You can totally think that. That's your opinion on us.
No, don't think
One thing I do want to point out is what a sweet mat you have there, Austin. Worlds 2011. Did you go?
No.
Okay.
That is just my favorite mat they ever made. Skater shoe for life. So I end here. I had a shit hand. Oh, this is PG. My bad.
Oh, it's okay. You can say one curse word, but you're
okay. I'm out of my curse word limit for the
children. Watch these videos, Austin. Jeez.
Oh, my bad. You'll just have to have a curse counter in the right hand corner.
We'll put that in there.
Yeah. So this is Golisopod Garb. Straight Golisopod Garb, I should mention. This has no Garbodor or any Zoroark, and I will not probably be playing any Zoroark GX in this. Just because, let me explain my theory behind this. Straight Golisopod in itself is a good deck. I feel like if you play anything else with it, you might be slowing yourself down. So, if you just run and gun with it, I play 4 copies of almost everything. 4 Golisopod, 4 Wimpod.
You run Koko in the deck, right?
I run 3 Koko. That's one of the exceptions. I used to run 4 Lele, but I had 2 Koko, 4 Lele. I cut a Lele for a Koko. My reason behind that is Koko is really good in situations where you need to spread damage so you can hit one-hit knockouts against decks like Drampa Garb, for example. If you get Koko spreads off 2-3 times, you're one-shotting that Drampa. So, I played 4 Acerola, 4 Guzma, 4 Sycamore, 4 N. Like, pretty much it's 4 DC, 7 Grass Energy. I played 4 Choice Band, but I cut a Choice Band for an extra Field Blower. I played 2 Field Blower, 1 Rescue Stretcher, 3 Choice Band, 4 Floatstone. So pretty much, it's not that diverse. There's like 12 different copies of cards. Like, it's pretty straightforward strategy. You play down the Wimpod. Obviously, my first mistake of this matchup was not wimping out that Grass Energy Wimpod and playing the base one up on the active spot. Just because you want to evolve and then be able to bring it up. First impression for more damage. Now I have to attach another draft. I just need more pieces of the puzzle now that I made that mistake. I don't do that anymore. So basically this deck is just run and gun. You play Guzma, Acerola to get things out of the active spot. You play Koko to have free retreat. Easier ways to get Golisopod from that bench to the active spot, so it does 120, 150 with a ban. It is a very strong deck, especially if you can do Crossing Cut, which does 150 base, 180 with a Choice Band, and it retreats itself out. So let's say you need to get a quick knockout, but you need more damage, like 180 on like a Garbodor or something. You can attach that DC, Crossing Cut it out of the active, takes it out of danger. 9 times out of 10, you usually won't need to DC up a Golisopod just because it is so strong on its own. Other support in this deck is a 1/1 line of Octillery. Octillery is your draw engine. along with a single copy of Oranguru. So I do play 2 different cards, or 2 different lines of like a draw engine. Main purpose for that is Octillery's going to be your main man 9 times out of 10. And then Oranguru is there for Ninetales actually, because Oranguru, if they put Oranguru, if I have 3 energies on it, I believe it knocks out a Baby Alone Ninetales automatically. That is why I play it. It's a sick tech for that matchup because that's your 1 out pretty much to it. And then because a Lele obviously can't take a knockout on a Baby Ninetales, or no, it's a GX. So yeah. So Oranguru is pretty much your only out to the Ninetales matchup in that sense. I play another N because obviously I don't know what Brigette is. I do play a Brigette. Obviously, I just don't like using it for whatever reason. It took me a while to get on the Brigette train for some reason. I just thought it was a bad card, and now I play it and I win now, so it's a good card.
Yeah, Brigitte's really hit and miss most decks. I actually do like the card. Now I'm starting to, like, I do run Volcanion a lot. I don't use it in Volcanion. It's not really needed in Volcanion. But, like, with my my Zorard deck with the, you know, the Shining Legends that I've been building, I actually take a Brigette in there. Brigitte's very good for this Drampa Garb deck. I think Brigette is actually a really solid card. It's crazy how much the price of the card has went up, though. I did kind of sidebar here, but remember when the full art was about it was in the $1 to $2 bin, and now it's 20, and I'm like, what happened?
Where did that market go?
Yeah, you know, and now I look at, you know, my collection. I'm like, oh, I have 4 regular Brigettes. Those are about $4 each, and now I have the reverse hollows, which are about 7 or 8, and now I have 2 full arts. One's mine and one's my fiance's, and we both have our own full art one. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy. It just blows my mind how a card can turn around and just be expensive the next day. It was kind of like the computer search and the dowsing machines. Any A spec now is above almost $10 now. Mm-hmm. Heck, even Master Ball, which I believe is probably the worst one of them all, is like close to $10. It's like $8.
Yeah, A specs had just spiked in price super hard. I had to take the brunt of that because I bought a computer search before Daytona Regionals for $75 because I did not get on the train because I thought $40 was outrageous for a computer search. So I get a Golisopod out. I Ultra Ball, discard a Sycamore, a Rescue Stretcher, and now I'm going to evolve into a Golisopod, the one with the Choice Band. He Coco spreaded me on the previous turn, so I have 2 damage on everything. I think I whiffed the Grass Energy, so I was unable to attack this turn, but I'm not sure. I do not remember, but we'll see here. Me and Jeff are notorious for when we have matchups to always going to time because we play like at a snail's pace because we try to outthink each other because, like I mentioned in the last video, me and Jeff tend to build decks and typically don't give on deck ideas.
No, you guys really don't, believe it or not. And this is coming from me because I haven't really played you in a while, Austin. Last time I played you was back when you were running probably Darkrai, and I was running Volcanion. That was back when like Steam Siege came out. So it's been a while since like we really played against each other. I know, actually, we did play when we played the Volcanion Decidueye matchup, and I ended up winning that one, but we didn't record that one. But yeah, when I play Jeff, I'm kind of a speedy player, which I just try to get stuff done as fast as possible. When I see something, I quickly put it down. And sometimes that hurts me just because I'll make a mistake because I'm like, oh man, if I would have sat there and thought it through. And when I play Jeff, even if I know I have the advantage in the matchup, I still get nervous playing him, and even you, Austin, when I play you, is because when Jeff literally sits there, and if you notice in the videos with Jeff in him, he shuffles a lot his hand because he's constantly just thinking about what he's gonna do. He always thinks about, like, you know, the what's the next step, what is he gonna do to put himself ahead, and actually makes him a very, very good opponent. And his skill set's actually, I believe he's one of the most skilled players in Nova Circuit, just because of the way he processes things. And it's unfortunate. I mean, it does show sometimes in regional events and cup events, but I mean, if you really ever meet Jeff at one of these events and play against him, you really have a respect for, you know, how he does strategize and take his time. And you even do the same, Austin. You just come up with crazy deck ideas, and we're just like, why, but I mean, sometimes your crazy deck ideas work though.
Like the patent pending Beware GX national sweep.
Yes. Yes.
Basically, I won a side pop with Beware GX and I claimed it was BDIF. So.
Yes, but I mean, I learned, and my fiance, to mention her again, she told me that, and I'm starting to do it. I still play a little fast, but she told me if I actually sat there and thought, I would actually do a lot better in my tournaments as well, because I always see myself misplaying a lot. And I look at myself as a really skilled player in the game. I come from other card game backgrounds as well. I've played Magic, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I love Pokemon, so that's why I stuck with Pokemon. And it is a different game compared to those, but I take my knowledge from those ones. But sometimes I get ahead of myself. I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to do this, and not even think about the precautions in the end, and that's what really hurts me a lot. And I gotta, I'm learning. Like I said, when I play against Jeff and all that. But and sidebar. Go.
So, if you just noticed my hand right there, I actually don't have a grass energy. So, I made a huge misplay because I was like, I threw my hand. Yeah. I was pissed off.
You need to calm it down. You're about 8 right now. You need to drop it out 2 or 3. This is Pokemon, man.
Oh, but I get excited about Pokemon.
I thought we were watching a Pokemon video, not a Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yo,
video.
This is a WWE match, actually. Is
this that main event?
Yeah, this is the main event. Me and Jeff. So me and Jeff, we're actually not that. I'm a very colorful person while I'm on camera, just because I do like putting on a show sometimes, but I'm actually not a very angry player.
Don't we all? Yeah. Same
so if
here.
you see me out of League Cup, I will promise I will not throw my hand at you.
Yeah, that's actually why I left. Another sidebar. That's why I left Magic the Gathering, is because I beat a player who literally he did have a better deck than me. But everybody knows card games are luck of the draw, and I ended up beating him twice out of 3 times, and he literally swiped my stuff, his stuff off the table, and I had to leave. I was like, I can't do that. I've never seen that happen in the Pokemon community.
No, but, Pokemon is very generally the best community of any card game I've met. So sidebarring back to a conversation about me and Jeff playing a little bit slower. Me and Jeff think really far ahead in the match. So generally, we'll be playing our turn and be 2 turns ahead of ourselves. So, we'll be thinking about all the scenarios and stuff. And I think that's something you develop when you start becoming a better player. I feel like there's, a bell curve. So, when you start, you play at a normal or faster pace. And then once you start getting into the intricacies and, different things you have to do in order to win matches, all the statistics, all the order operations, and all this different stuff, you start thinking more. So generally, I think players go from a normal to fast pace to a slower pace once they start developing more, and then they'll start to regain that speed over time. So me and Jeff are in the bottom of that bell curve right now, I think.
Yeah.
And generally, once we play a deck for about a month, we'll be some of the faster players, because right now this was when I was first picking up Golisopod. So now I think this was recorded about a while ago, because I've been playing this deck for about a month or so. I've been playing Golisopod for about a month. I'm definitely a faster Golisopod player now. I would say I'm faster than most of my opponents now. But generally, once you pick up a deck, you want to take your time, understand the intricacies, and then kind of learn each matchup and then develop that pace afterwards.
So I saw you got a knockout on the Koko.
I did it.
So, yeah.
It's funny because even with some of the most crucial mistakes I made in this game, Golisopod carried me to a prize-to-prize decisive victory for Jeff. So it was 1-1, I'm pretty sure, at the end. So spoiler alert, Jeff won.
Yeah, well, they kind of figured that when we said sorry for the mistakes in the beginning of the video.
Yeah. So, but generally, when we play a match, me and Jeff want to have the best match possible, so we don't take cheap stuff like that. So, small mistakes, we typically do not be hey, you gotta leave it that way or this way, because we want to have the best match possible for our own sake to develop as players.
Especially local tournaments. I mean, I don't see why people really get strict about it. Oh, you removed your hand from it, you can't take it back. I mean, for us, and I'm pretty sure for you and Jeff as well. For me, I know I just take locals as practice.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take basically it's deck test practice for me. I'm just like, all right, well, some people run top tier decks here. Let me just see what my deck does against these. So I never really take local serious. I really don't take most tournaments serious as like I should. Like regionals, I'm always there, just happy to meet people. I make mistakes at regionals all the time. I do know my number one goal at regionals is to get on live stream and make it the most entertaining live stream anybody will ever watch. I will make sure to love the camera. That's always been my goal, and even if it gets me DQ'd, I've always liked making people laugh. I always found myself a little bit of a comedian. So my goal is, let's try to get. I'm one day going to get a hashtag training, put Jason on stream. And I want to be on stream because I will do the crazy stuff. Like I saw a guy on stream do some weird hand movements and then shake his opponent when he knew he lost. I was like, that is the best thing ever. So literally my goal is to eventually be on stream. Maybe I just need to do well enough where they're like, oh, let's put Jason up here against another top tier deck. And then I'm just going to make you guys laugh. That's my goal. Just because I'm here. Yeah, there's a competitive side of me in Pokemon, but there's not one time I have ever got mad for losing. I understand the concept of the games are luck of the draw. I know there's other decks that are better. I know the skill set of players is different. So I'm rarely ever mad. I'm just here to have a great time and make sure my opponent had a good time and be like, man, that Jason McKinney guy was awesome. Mm-hmm. And so that's my goal. So if anybody watching this video, remember that hashtag, get Jason on stream, and I will do some crazy stuff for you guys and make sure everybody... I'll take the DQ to make everybody laugh. That is my goal. That would be my story in Pokemon. Everybody's gonna be like, remember that Jason McKinney guy on stream? Awesome.
Well, we hope you don't get DQ'd for giving us a good laugh. But back to the game here. You may have just saw me try to attach an Octillery to a Golisopod for some reason. I swear I know how to play this game sometimes.
No, don't worry. We saved you by telling everybody in the beginning you made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. So like picking up a deck at first, like I do not sweat the small stuff. Like at locals, like how Jason said, we take it almost as practice. Yeah, there's 4 packs on the line for player first.
Yeah.
And so like it's like 4 packs, whatever. I take the experience of like 4 or 5 rounds and figure out where my weak spots are. Because a lot of our locals are actually decent players.
A lot of them really are. And they play really good decks. Like, we see a lot of Garbodors right now. This video was made like 3 weeks ago. Just so, like we mentioned earlier. Yeah. But like right now we're seeing a lot of... We're actually... Literally everybody's playing those top tier decks. I've seen nothing but Drampa Garbs and Gardevoirs. And I'm running Volcanion right now. And that's perfect practice for me because Volcanion Gardevoir... Gardevoir has the matchup in that. And it just gives me so much practice against the Gardevoir deck. And I take locals, like I said, they're just practice to me, and I actually just enjoy the practice and getting ready. It gets me ready for that next step for my deck.
Now, we did just see Jeff put down a Potown. Potown is very dangerous in this matchup for me.
Yeah,
because it takes my HP from 210 to 180, which is 1-shot range. So I have to be very careful on when I want to evolve and play my field blowers to my advantage, essentially. So, like, I can't just go be like, all right, I need a field blower off these floatstones just because they're there. No, I have to save it for the Potowns because they play 3 to 4 Potowns. I'm going to run out of field blowers eventually, so I got to hope in between turns when I evolve that they do not have that Potown to put back down and make me suffer. So, my deck actually still does not really have an answer, a solid answer, I should say, to Potown, besides timing the field blowers correctly, because Golisopod in itself does not play stadiums, so I can't play the stadium game, unfortunately, during matches. I have to be tactful and resourceful when I want to use those field blowers to win the match.
And Jeff runs a Garbotoxin Garbodor, doesn't he, correct?
Yes, so that's also bad for like Wimpod, Abyssal Hand, and my draw engines. If he shuts off my abilities, that's also bad. So if I see that come down, I want to field blower it, but I don't want field blower until I see a Potown. Yeah, so I get the max value.
Yeah, Garbotoxin Garbodor is still a really good card in the format. It's just, that's why you see a lot of decks now tech at least 2, or I see a lot with now 3 field blowers, and I know some of my decks run 3 field blowers just because if you notice the new standard format, there is a lot of ability driven decks now. Like a lot of decks are ability driven. So And a lot of people are like, well, Garbotoxin with the field blowers ain't going to be that good. It's still pretty good because...
Yeah, Hex is not here anymore to protect you.
Yeah.
So, and Hex never protected you from Garbotoxin to begin with because you're showing off your own abilities to show off their abilities.
Yeah, so
tool removal coming back into the format really took away Garbotoxin's stranglehold on the meta.
Yeah.
So, but Garbotoxin...
It's still good.
Yeah, it's still like... If you play Garbodor, you definitely have a 3-1 or a 2-2 split. Just to have Garbotoxin there for you, especially with Guardy being a thing now, you can outlive their field boards if you play your Floatstones tactfully.
Yep, that's Secret Spring ability. Drives me nuts.
And that's what I did when I did play Golisopod Garb for a minute, because I did switch to Golisopod Garb for Expanded to a 5-3-1 bubble out of top 120 finish in Daytona Beach. I'm still mildly salty about that. That's actually the first time I've gotten really salty at a tournament for bubbling out. But I play Golisopod Garb, and I think Golisopod Garb is a better variant for Expanded, just because of all the scoop up Cyclone, blend energy. You can't go wrong with Golisopod Garb and Expanded. You'll do fine. But in standard format, I feel like it's a bit more clunky, just because you have 2 evolution lines. Your focus is kind of on both, so you have to prioritize correctly, and it does see success, don't get me wrong. I just feel like it's not the deck for me. I feel like straight Golisopod does the job just as well, and it doesn't play as many items. So I feel like it speeds faster past Golisopod Garb, so I win those mirror matches more times than not. Because I can hold items super hard in Golisopod and not even worry about it. But usually in a matchup where Garbodor is not a thing, I usually just blue.
I think that's where Garbodor or whatever takes the biggest hit. The Trash Lance one is because now that, you know, when Garbodor first came out, VS Seeker was still standard and all that, but now those have rotated, so a lot of decks are running more supporters. So it also, Garbodor kind of took a hit on that, because now instead of I'm just gonna run, 1-2 Guzma, maybe everybody runs 4 Sycamore. There's no reason you shouldn't run at least 3, but and then ends, and then you're like, oh, I'm just gonna VS Seeker. Now that those are gone, a lot of decks probably run. Let's see, my Volcanion list now runs only 4 items.
Yeah,
and everything else is supporter. It's like that Garbodor with those like VS Seekers being out kind of took a hit. Still a very solid deck though, because there are those decks that are heavy item driven still, but in the current, that's why you don't see just straight up Garbodor decks anymore though. It's just because of the amount of supporters you actually have to put in your deck now.
Now what you don't see during this video is we were actually surrounded by almost the entire Nova Circuit team was there that day.
Yeah.
And of course, being teammates, we like to cut and jab at each other when we make mistakes. So I was taking a lot of heat during this matchup, which also led to me being more distracted and like removed from being focused in the game state. So I was definitely making more mistakes because of that, taking a slight jab at the team there. Slight jab.
Oh, it's okay. It was all in for fun, actually.
Oh yeah, we were having a lot of fun. I mean, me and Jeff were like taking jabs at each other, making jokes. Like, if we had the actual audio from this match, I think it would be more interesting just because of how we carry ourselves out local, which is just a lot of fun.
I mean, we could totally have done the audio.
It may have been age restricted though on YouTube.
Yeah, we would have definitely had to been age restricted because some of the jokes drop hard. And we want to be advertiser friendly, of course. So.
Yeah.
we can go the PewDiePie route and be a Christian channel. Christian channel. So, I think we're okay though right now with Pokemon. I don't think we're gonna be.
Yeah. So, we've been building the team slowly over the past couple months here. So, like, Nova Circuit has developed into quite a Pokemon team. So, like, Nova Circuit has a DBZ team, a Pokemon team, video game team. We have teams for everything. Like, we want to be your definitive source for everything geek related.
Pretty much geek related, yeah. And eventually we'll talk about it on the talk show. But when I started Nova Circuit, I'm Jason McKinney. I'm the one that started Nova Circuit, and actually it took Austin and a couple of the Pokemon guys to say, "Hey, start a team to promote your brand." And I was like, "That's perfect." So once that happened, other people became interested, and I was like, "Wow!" And other card games like DBS, which is a Dragon Ball Super game. You know, we actually have a member that was in the Pokemon team go out and play DBS, and he's one of the best players in the state of Kentucky.
Pretty much, like he does not lose.
He's topping every tournament, so it's like awesome. And you know, now a lot of people, it's crazy because when I started Nova Circuit, it was just for, you know, I did it for fun. I want to make movies. I want to make films. You know, I want to entertain people. It's what I've always done. Hence why hashtag get Jason on live stream. You know, I just want to entertain people, and I'm a very geeky guy, so the best way I can entertain you guys is doing something I love. And I play Pokemon, video games. I do every card game from Magic, Final Fantasy. You know, so you know, I want Nova Circuit to be that source of like geek material for you guys. Pokemon, video games, and right now we're really heavy on Pokemon because that's what I'm involved with mostly. And you know, the Pokemon group, when I created this team, they got really involved with it. They're like, yeah, let's make videos, let's make content. And unfortunately, it's not as consistent as we would like. You know, we're working on that now. We had discussions and talks about it, and so it's definitely going to be more consistent. But I'm actually very happy with how involved everybody got, and everybody was like, wow, I really like this idea, you know, this Nova Circuit thing. Like I said, we got support from even other like groups. I mean, even Super Rodcast has mentioned one of our members before, and I love Super Rodcast.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. They're free advertisement for this video again. And we don't see Zach much, but Top Deck Nation also kind of supported me in the beginning as well, because when I first met Zach Carmichael, he was the one that kind of pushed me towards doing Pokemon content. So I do a shout out to him. I don't really see Zach much, but you know, this video also thank him for that. But yeah, Nova Circuit's actually getting a lot of sort of some small buzz out there now that we're able to promote the name, the team, and pop it a couple.
We typically cut out if without fail, usually one member of Nova Circuit cuts out a cup that we travel to. Yeah. So like what Jason mentioned earlier, we actually, me and Jeffrey, the two people in this video, we actually traveled with the whole Super Odd team down to Tennessee, and our whole car took 5 spots of the cut.
Yeah.
So like. So we get to hang out with Super Rod a lot and get to learn from them, learn like what they impart their wisdom on us and get us to think about the small things about the game. You know, you can play the game in the big sense all day long, but until you understand those small intricacies and understand the small things that would get you a win over a loss, that is really what excels your game to the next level. And I really appreciate Super Rod for helping us out along the way.
So basically, this is a whole advertisement for Super Rodcast. And there was a Super Rod right there.
Yeah, so. Super Rod.
I mean, and to talk about them more, and I'll let them know that we talked about them in this video, but like, Jeffrey Saran is one of the Super Rodcast members, and Jared
Weiss.
But I'm going to call him Weiss to kind of
just say hello and executor.
Yeah. But you know, those two, I played against Jeff more. But Jeff, actually, when I came back to the Pokemon community after being out since like the Heart Gold Soul Silver days, Jeff was the one that helped push me and helped me. Like when I played against him, he taught me like Night March. That was the deck I came in with, and you know, he helped me make my Night March list more consistent. And Jeff has always been there to. Anytime I have a deck idea and Jeff is interested, I share it with him, and he helps me make that deck, you know, even better. Like their skill set, like Jared's skill set and Jeff, I'm envious of like how skilled they are as players. Like Jared, every time I even play Jared, I tell him how like awesome every time. Even when I lose to him, like this was just awesome just to see a guy with your skill set, you know, and teach me things. And you know, shout out to Super Rodcast just because. Those guys are really knowledgeable, and they even got a huge name out in the Pokemon community right now.
Yeah,
they're getting top names in their podcast.
They're like the definitive podcast for Pokemon right now.
And I'm glad that they even know Nova Circuit's name because we're all such good friends with them.
And we're kind of local together, so
yeah, we are local. They are from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I have met Kirk a couple times, and I think he's a really cool guy too. He cracks me up. He's a really funny.
Yeah, Kirk is hilarious.
But I never really got to play against Kirk, so I know he's a skilled player. But I know when I've conversated with him, he's a really funny guy. But I like to thank Jeff and Jared, man, because they really do help me out a lot. And you know, a lot of Jeff Saran's deck ideas are. What I usually run at locals, like the Decidueye Espeon one was something Jeff kind of threw an idea at me. I was like, this is awesome. So I ran that a couple of times. I'm like, wow. And I told Jeff, I was like, dude, this is awesome. So
yeah. And Jared and Jeff have both taken me under their wing in a sense. Jared has developed or like helped me develop the small intricacies of everything. He's played time matches with me. Like, this is all stuff that he wanted to do for me, which I am very appreciative. Yeah. Jeff has been very helpful with like figuring out decks and like understanding decisions and stuff like that. I appreciate that from him. Kurt has provided me with lists for many of the decks I've played the past month or so. So I all three of them have really been great help to me in development as a player in general.
So once again, guys, just shout out to the Super Rodcast. Definitely check out their podcast. They're on SoundCloud,
iTunes.
Yeah, so definitely check out their stuff because I've been listening to them, and you do learn a lot. So, this video is getting close to the end. Austin, you want to kind of fill us where we are?
We're down to 2 prizes each. I think he knocks out this Golisopod handedly because he has knockout if he had damage somewhere. I don't remember exactly what happened here. I don't think he was able to get damage down was the thing. So he's not going to be able to take a knockout right now with that Drampa. But I think he's looking for a solution here right now. Pretty much this match ended with Jeff winning. I think we both had 2 prizes at this point.
Well, he does have the choice band as well. I think that does put shit at.
Oh yeah, he got it. He got it with a.
Oh, the trash land.
Yeah, he got with that. Right, that's how he won.
But so sorry for a lot of sidebars in this video, but we hope you guys liked the video. Once again, shout out to Super Rodcast. I guess we decided to talk about them in this video. They deserved it though.
Oh wait a minute, he did take a knockout with that trash lynch. I don't think.
Oh well.
Wait, no, did I win? No, I didn't win. Yeah,
but anyways, you guys go ahead and figure that out.
Wait, I did win.
Yeah, please like and subscribe to the video and leave a comment if you like what you see, and we'll put out more content.